Hello, welcome to the Eagle's Wing podcast. This is your host, Deuce Brandt. Today we are in Proverbs Chapter 22 in the Amplified Bible. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. The rich and the poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. A prudent man sees the evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished with suffering. The reward of humility and the reverent and worshipful fear of the Lord is riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the obstinate and willful. He who guards himself will be far from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and in keeping up with this individual, gift or bent. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He who sows iniquity will reap calamity and futility, and the rod of his wrath with which he smites others will fail. He who has a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he gives of his bread to the poor. Drive out the scoffer, and contention will go out. Yes, strife and abuse will cease. He who loves purity and the pure in heart, and he who is gracious in speech, because of the grace of his lips, will have the king for a friend, for his friend. The eyes of the Lord keep guard over knowledge, and him who has it, but he overthrows the word of the treacherous. The sluggard says, "There's a lion outside. I shall be slain in the streets." The mouth of the loose woman is a deep pit for ensnaring wild animals. He with whom the Lord is indignant and who is abhorrent to him will fall into it. Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far from him. He who oppresses the poor to get grain for himself, and he who gives to the rich, both will surely come to want. Listen, constant, and submit to the words of the wise, and apply your mind to my knowledge. For it will be pleasant if you keep them in your mind, believing them. Your lips will be accustomed to confessing them, so that your trust, belief, resilience, support, and confidence may be in the Lord. I have made known these things to you today, even to you. Have I not written to you long ago excellent things in counsel and knowledge, to make you know the certainty of the words of truth, that you may give a true answer to those who sent you? Rob not the poor, being tempted by their helplessness. Neither oppress the afflicted at the gate, where the city court is held. For the Lord will plead their case, and deprive of life those who deprive the poor or afflicted. Make no friendship with a man given to anger, and with a wrathful man do not associate, lest you learn his ways and get yourself into a snare. But be not one of those people who strike hands and pledge themselves, or those who become security for another's debts. If you have nothing for which to pay, why should he take your bed from under you? Remove not the ancient landmark from which your fathers have set up. Do you see a man diligent and skillful in his business? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. All right, a couple things in this proverb that kind of jumped out to me today. The rich and the poor man, meet together, but the Lord is the maker of them all. So here's the thing. We are all children of God. We are all valuable and special in the eyes of God, but there is a difference between those that have wealth and those that have not. It's not a personal value, but it's a value that we bring to the marketplace. Next, train up a child in the way he should go, and in keeping with his individual gift or bent, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So this is good parenting advice, is as parents, we need to see our children and to see the gifts and kind of the things that they're naturally moved towards and what they like, and encourage that. And it's not necessarily what we want for them or what we think they should do. If they are skilled at art, encourage that. Music, dance, poetry, mathematics, engineering, building, construction, whatever it is that they naturally are gifted in, encourage that thing. And then when they're old, they will continue in that thing. This is kind of the opposite of the, spare the rod and spoil the child proverb. This is the other end of it, where you see what is good and you bless within it. And then the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender, or a servant to the lender. So the reality is, when you go into debt, you become that person's slave. And one of the things that financially, if you never go into debt, you won't have these relationships. But if you borrow money from family, Thanksgiving dinner is very, very different when you have to be next to that person, and maybe you haven't paid them. So definitely keep that in mind. Some information about, what the sluggard says. This scripture where it says the sluggard says, "There is a lion outside, I will be slain in the streets." This is some BS excuse to not go into action. This is some unfounded lie, either that they're telling to get out of doing the thing that they need to do, or maybe they truly believe it. But the thing about it is, excuses, whatever your excuse is to get out of doing something that you need to do and you need to do, that is what's going to hurt you. So instead of, fearing the thing that is unknown and saying, "Oh no, there's a wild lion outside, it's going to kill me." How about you go outside? How about you try? And if you go outside and there is a lion, you can come back inside. Just something to think about. And then in relationships, it talks about foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far from him. So this is just explaining that, sometimes we need to discipline our children. And I believe it should be in proportion to whatever is, just, and whatever is, equivalent to the reason for needing it. And so, sometimes foolishness, it needs correction, or it will continue. And here's the reality. Usually things don't get better on their own. If your child throws themselves on the ground and yells and screams at the store, and if you placate the child and do what the child wants, it's just going to do more of that thing. But if you provide discipline, it may not be fun in the moment. It definitely will not be fun for the child. But you teach the child that kind of behavior is not acceptable. And so we have to do that. And then I'm going to leave it with this is, do you see a man diligent and skillful in his business? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. This is skillful and godly wisdom. This is being a person to where your work is impeccable, and you are of such reputation that the best of the best seek you out, and they will pay whatever you ask. Be skillful in your business. All right, so that's going to be it for today for the Eagle's Wing podcast. This is Deuce Brandt. I pray that you have skillful and godly wisdom.